You know those little habits you have? The ones you think are just you? Well, what if I told you they're not random at all? Today, we're going to dig into the surprising psychology behind our daily routines to find out what they really say about how our minds work. So, I want you to hold that thought as we go through this, because a lot of the time, the behaviors we might write off as weird, like talking to yourself or having a super messy desk, could actually be signs that your brain is firing on all cylinders. Okay, so first up, let's dive into habits that psychology often links to high intelligence. Now, they might look a little strange from the outside, but for a brain that's working overtime, it's all about logic and pure efficiency. This is such a classic one, right? A lot of incredibly smart people talk to themselves. And no, it's not because they're going crazy. It's all about getting clarity. It's almost like they're holding a quick, private meeting with themselves to sort through information. So, what's really going on here? Well, there's actually a name for this. Psychologists call it verbal reasoning. The moment you turn those jumbled, abstract thoughts into actual words, your brain can grab onto them and organize them way more effectively. It's a tool for just cutting through all that mental noise. So, see, it's not weird at all. It's basically a life hack for your brain. And this next one is kind of related. Have you ever met someone whose desk is just a complete disaster zone, but their digital files are perfectly organized? This is a perfect example of something called selective organization. A highly active brain knows not to waste energy on things that don't really matter. It's all about efficiency. Okay, this next one gets a really bad rap and is often mistaken for being antisocial. But look, for a mind that's wired to go deep, small talk about the weather is just mentally exhausting. It's not about avoiding people, it's about avoiding shallow conversation. Trust me, you switch the topic to something complex and interesting, and you'll see them come alive. Okay, so when you've got a brain that's processing that much information all day, it needs to recharge, right? And that brings us to sleep. But here's the thing. The key isn't just sleeping more, it's about sleeping smarter. And this is a really big one, a total game changer for how you think about rest. You know that feeling you sleep for 8 solid hours, but you wake up feeling like a zombie? Meanwhile, your friend gets 6 hours and feels incredible. Well, here's why. Your brain isn't just counting the hours you're asleep, it cares about completing its full recovery cycles. The magic number here? It's 90 minutes. That's roughly how long one full sleep cycle lasts, taking you from light sleep down into deep sleep for physical repair and then into REM for memory and processing. The real secret to waking up feeling refreshed is to wake up at the end of one of these cycles, not smack in the middle of one. This chart really spells it out, doesn't it? If your sleep is all broken up because of stress or that late night coffee, your brain never gets to those deep restorative stages it desperately needs. And that's exactly why 6 hours of solid, high-quality sleep will beat 8 hours of choppy, fragmented sleep every single time. So the big question is, how do you actually get that kind of amazing sleep? Well, there's this super simple rule called the 3-2-1 rule. It's a fantastic way to signal to your brain that it's time to power down. Psychologists call this cognitive offloading. No heavy food, no work, and absolutely no screens. It lets your mind and body get ready for some serious rest. All right, so we've got a mind that's thinking efficiently, it's resting strategically. So how does it show up in the world, especially the digital one? And that brings us to our last section, the psychology of why some of the smartest people are also the quietest online. I love this quote. It's so powerful. Because in a world that is constantly screaming for our attention online, choosing to be quiet is a huge statement. It really speaks to this deep inner confidence that doesn't need a constant stream of likes and shares to feel validated. Their sense of self is already solid. And just to be super clear, this isn't about being shy or antisocial. It's usually a mix of some very specific traits. They just really value their privacy, they have a strong sense of who they are, and their self-esteem is built on something more real than online engagement. It frees them up to focus on what actually matters in the real world. So what's going on in their head? Well, psychologists have a term for this, an internal locus of evaluation. Basically, it means their scorecard for life is internal. They are their own judge, not the court of public opinion. This lets them be deep thinkers who'd much rather have one authentic conversation than broadcast their life to everyone. So when you see someone staying quiet online, remember it's almost always an active choice. It's their way of opting out of the constant performance, the digital illusion, and that endless toxic cycle of social comparison. Where you measure your real life against someone else's highlight reel. It's about choosing their own peace. So you see, from talking to yourself to being quiet online, none of this stuff is random. Our habits tell a story about the unique way our brains are wired. So the real question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you can see the logic, what hidden patterns in your own lives might be more than just quirks? What are they telling you about how your brain works?